Hello viewers and welcome back to Buckmore Park for round 3 of the Elite Karting Series season, where we've had a host of racing already today, but the best drivers in the championship about to take to the grid, and my word, it could not be much closer than it is. Archie Bullard is on pole position, continuing his fine run of form that he's built up at Sandown Park in their DMAX karts, however making the adjustment to the Buckmore 4-strokes and doing a great job. Only 800ths of a second ahead though of Olly Smith, who shares row 1 with Archie, Mark Puxty and Jack Simmons, a little bit of a ways behind, only about 2 tenths on row 2. Frederick Navarro and Charlie Foster are row 3 of the grid, with Carlos Armanis and Ryan Sandown row 4. Into row 5 then, it is Milton Keynes regular Jamie Tyler Gooden in 9th position, with Nathan Maximin in 10th. Andrew McWilliam and Philip Babalau share row 6 of the grid. They've often shared row 1 of the grid together, however a little bit of a ways behind here at Buckmore, where the karts are such an adjustment. Jack Harrison and Richard Lavender are row 7, with Jamie Sherman Chase in 15th position. Alex Brazier had qualified 2nd position. Unfortunately, he came in underweight, so he'll start at last on the grid. Split 1, race 1 about to get underway. This should be a really exciting contest, the most competitive grid we've had here in the EKS. Archie Bullard on pole position, it is lights out and away we go. Archie immediately moves over to cover off Olly Smith as they make their way down into turn 1. On board with Ryan Sandown, he's under pressure as he makes his way through the first corner, Conways, and into Henry's Bend. He'll keep an eye on Olly Smith, who dives down the inside into hairpin 1 to try and get ahead of Archie Bullard, and does get ahead of Archie Bullard. So Olly Smith into the lead of the race, but only by about a couple of tenths of a second as they make their way up to the sector 2 timing line. Frederick Navarro has got a fantastic view as well of a battle going on as Alex Brazier as well trying to battle with Jamie Sherman Chase. Frederick Navarro down the inside gains himself 1 position, now looking to defend as he makes their way down into Garda for the first time in this race. Andrew McWilliam just ahead of him has got the number 10 karts of Jamie Tyler Gooden, and now Nathan Maximin in getting involved as well. He follows through on Andrew McWilliam and actually is able to get through as well. So Andrew loses out on a position, returning to Buckmore, trying to get a little bit of practice in for the kart race of champions here. Andrew McWilliam doing a relatively decent job at it. We'll see what Nathan can do then. He's got Jamie Tyler Gooden just ahead of him. Will look to dive down the inside, not quite able to do so though. Carlos Armani's involved in this as well, as we're going to go 3 wide very briefly on the second lap of this race. Nathan to the inside line, Jamie Tyler Gooden to the outside of Ryan Sandown. He'll be able to find his way through. Ryan just edged down ever so slightly. Carlos Armani is the main beneficiary out of all of it. He's flying on in front.
You can see, looking from the drone shot here, Archie Bullard's managed to hold on to 2nd place for the time being, ahead of Jack Simmons, as they all file their way heading up to Garda. Looks like Jamie Tyler Gooden stayed ahead of Richard Lambert for the time being. Meanwhile, Jamie Sherman Chase has got up the inside of Jack Harrison. Philip Babalau's got up the inside of Nathan Maximin. So 2 overtakes into that corner there. You can see that from that static camera at Garda, and now going to start-finish line is Olly Smith into the lead of the race, ahead of Jack Simmons, who's managed to get through on Archie Bullard. I think Archie and Dave got the first and only heavyweight driver in this race. Mark Puxty in 4th place and Charlie Foster in 5th place, but Ryan Sandown, up the inside of Carlos Armanis, go through hairpin 1. Carlos held it on the inside though for hairpin 2, and he is still side by side with Ryan Sandown as they head through the S's. Philip Babalau meanwhile has managed to make his way past Andrew McWilliam, who's now looking straight back up the inside of Babalau, going through Simon Sweep and Pullman's. Now Andrew McWilliam's got the inside for Paddock Corner. Can he hold on to this position here as they still go side by side heading up to Garland? This is fantastic racing between these 2 drivers, who are more used to a DMAX car than they are a 4-stroke kart. And now Philip Babalau goes flying over that curve on the inside of Cartshot Corner, go through Cavagel. I think he has now finally got ahead of Andrew McWilliam. Nathan Maximin has slipped through whilst he's at it as well, so good move there by Nathan Maximin to capitalise on that battling. Nathan's not used to these karts either, as Richard Lavender also sneaks through on Andrew McWilliam. So Andrew McWilliam's coming right down the order here, down to around about 12th place at the moment. He's now got the cutback on Richard Lavender, and he's going to go for a move here at the same time and makes contact there with Philip Babalau. So Andrew McWilliam was getting overtaken by Richard Lavender. In the end, he overtook both Richard Lavender, Nathan Maximin, and Philip Babalau. Philip Babalau's back on the inside, he's back through, so is Nathan Maximin. This is such good dicing here in this battle for around about 8th or 9th position. The great racing here is you've still got Andrew McWilliam side by side with Philip Babalau, who has to take the runoff area there and gain that position at the back. Philip had no choice there but to go off the circuit. He wasn't left any other option, as we've got Jack Harrison side by side with Nathan Maximin as they run up the hill to bring the end of what is the 4th lap of this race.
Ryan Sandown. Fantastic view of the battling as well. He's hoping to catch up as Richard Lamenter gets through on Jack Harrison. Gets through on Nathan Maximin as well. Jack Harrison just ahead of them, and Richard through and confirmed on Nathan Maximin. Andrew McWilliams still keeping that eye on Philip Babalal, who makes a little bit of a mistake into hairpin 2. That gives Andrew the run on the inside line. Alex Brazier has caught up right to the back of Nathan Maximin, who now overtaken by Richard Lamender. Let's see what Alex Brazier can do as they make their way through the S's. Andrew Williams still keeping that eye on Philip Babalal as there's a move for the lead, and Olly Smith will lose out on the lead of the race to the number 3 Kart of Jack Simmons. So out of nowhere, Jack Simmons is in to the lead of the race as Richard Lamender still trying to edge out Jack Harrison, who gets himself back into the lead. We'll keep an eye on Olly Smith's on board as he makes his way up into hairpin 1. He'll try maybe for the inside, doesn't quite get the chance to go for the dive. Meanwhile, Nathan Maximin trying to make his way through on Jack Harrison once again, gets the inside into Henry's Bend. Now into hairpin 1, will try and get on the brakes just that little bit later, does exactly that, and I believe Nathan is able to find his way through and can start to chase after Andrew McWilliam. Richard Lamenter now putting that pressure on Jack Harrison, who furiously wants to chase after the pack ahead, and the pack behind just not working with him at the moment. With only 7 minutes to go in the race, you can sort of see where their logic comes from. No one wants to be eaten up here by the pack. Olly Smith, by the way, still chasing after your race leader, Jack Simmons.
Yeah, and also Ryan Sandown on the previous lap, who's still side by side with Carlos Manes. Made a couple of really good overtakes on Jamie Tyler-Good and Charlie Foster, but Jamie just got him back into Garda, and Carlos has managed to slip his way through in the process. So Carlos Manes now up into 6th place. It's a track that Carlos has been racing at for the last 10 years. Ryan Sandown's been racing here for the last 10 years too. Old rival of mine here, as Charlie Foster makes his way up the inside of Ryan Sandown, so he gets Ryan straight back 2 laps after Ryan overtook him into hairpin 1. So Ryan Sandown's now dropped back down to around about 8th position. Like I say, Ryan Sandown used to be a rival of mine in the Ironman Championship in 2016, as was Alex Brazier. So the 3 of us used to race together down here back in the day, as did Olly Smith back in 2014. Used to race together with myself. So there's a lot of us here who have been racing in Buckmore for many, many years, and we've now got Olly Smith right behind Jack Simmons as they head up Herbert's Rise through Cafe Curve and onto the 60 straight to bring the end of the 7th lap of this race. And you can just see now Nathan Maximin slipped up the inside of Andrew William. He went up the inside of Philip Babalao into Garda, but couldn't get through. Now Nathan Maximin trying to get through. He can't get through, but Jack Harrison, he's now on the inside. So as soon as you go for a move, someone else goes for a move on you, as Jack Harrison has made his way through now on Andrew William, and he's up in to 10th position on Nathan Maximin, up into 11th.
And the crazy thing that's been the theme throughout the entirety of this round is that everyone's battling for the minor positions. These aren't even for podium positions. Obviously, Olly Smith still battling for the lead of the race. You can see on the drone shot as they make their way up into Garda, just at the very top of your picture. Olly Smith is still trying to chase after the lead of the race, but the battling predominantly has been for these minor positions. Andrew William now capitalising on a mistake from Philip Babalal, who just about rejoins the circuit ahead of Andrew McWilliam. Now Andrew back to being side by side, still side by side, but just as they make their way through Cafe Curve and that section of the circuit, Philip Babalal is able to just about stay ahead. Let's see what Andrew can do. He knows he's got Jack Harrison on his inside into Conway's. Jack Harrison goes for a late move. It's very, very late into Henry's Bend. He makes his way through and through into hairpin 1. Will get ahead of Andrew, but Andrew very, very maturely breaks a little bit earlier, gets the run on the outside and back into that position. Jack Harrison under pressure from Nathan Maximin, who tries to cross the lines over himself. Philip Babalao continuing to defend, and once again Jack Harrison is pointing to the back of his helmet. He's desperate for someone to work with him, but he's not been able to find anyone just yet, and I don't think Nathan Maximin is particularly interested in playing ball as he goes back to the outside line and into Garda. Will try to the inside, same thing that Andrew McWilliam does. He mirrors Andrew McWilliam's move as Andrew makes his way through on Philip Babalao. Nathan Maximin is able to find his way through, and Jack Harrison, well, I can only hope that he finds someone to work with, because right now he has been battling all throughout this race.
He has indeed, and whilst that was going on to our Ryan Sandown and Charlie Foster, they've been at it for the last few laps back. Anyway, Charlie Foster's picked up a contact warning in the meantime, as it has got a bit feisty between Ryan and Charlie. Now Ryan, he's got the run, and Charlie coming out of hairpin 1. Charlie running really deep there. Now he's got the inside for hairpin 2, and I think Charlie has held on here to 7th position. So he still goes side by side now, going through the S's on this 8th or 9th lap of the race, let's say, as Ryan Sandown hill. He is now on the inside, still going through side sweep, and I think Ryan Sandown has managed to get that position pass. So Ryan's got a bit of a weight disadvantage compared to Charlie Foss. He's about 15 kilos heavier. Ryan's a senior driver, whereas Charlie is a junior driver, but Ryan did really well here. Like I say, another driver who's been racing here for many years down at Buckmore. He actually won the Kart Racing Champions here in 2022, so he's one of the best heavyweight drivers in the country, bar none. And Puxty, who's in 4th place, actually won Kart Racing Champions last year around here. So we have two of the top drivers from Croc racing this race. Shout out to Puxty, by the way. He's all the way up in 4th place, racing at 95 kg. So what a drive this is by Mark Puxty, up in 4th place, beating all but two of the junior drivers. Whilst we were saying that, Jack Harrison has made his way back past on Nathan Maxman. Those two have been scrapping away all throughout this race. Jack Harrison being a junior driver, you can tell who the junior drivers are, who the senior drivers are by the timing tower in the top left-hand corner. In the timing tower, the black numbers are the senior drivers, the blue numbers are the junior drivers, and Mark Puxty, as you can see, in yellow is the heavyweight driver in this race. So that is how you can identify who everyone is. Junior drivers are 70 kilos, senior drivers are 80 kilos, the heavyweight drivers are 95 kilos at least, as they now make their way going up the hill for the time of this race to, well, we've got 2.5 minutes left to bring this race towards the end.
It's Jack Harrison again, desperate for Nathan Maxman to just work with him. And again, Nathan not playing ball, but here goes Jack Harrison to the inside line of Philip Baralal. A late move. Philip will get the run back on the outside line into hairpin 2. Nathan Maxman tries to follow Jack through and does follow Jack through, but Philip back on the outside line is able to get the power down just in time. Olly Smith keeping an eye on him, as you see on the drone shot, making their way into Garda. He's all over the back of race leader Jack Simmons. Doesn't really matter from Ollie's perspective. He's still inside the senior class, of course, and still winning the senior class. Probably your favourite for the senior crown at the end of this season. We'll wait and see. Alex Brazier trying to capitalise on a side-by-side moment with Richard Lavender, as Richard was side-by-side with Nathan Maxman. Now Alex Brazier making his way through and ahead of Richard Lavender, looking forward to Nathan Maxman then, and Alex trying to get his head down. 1 minute and 30 seconds on the clock. I would suspect that the guys making their way through the S's now, our race leaders, will be starting their penultimate lap of the race this time by, Luke.
Yeah, I think it might be. You can also shout out to Freddie Navarro. He's in 5th place at the moment, but not showing up on the timing screen. Unfortunately, his transponder is not working in this race, but you can see from his onboard that he is in 5th place, not far behind Archie, Bullard and Mark Puxty, who are being glued together throughout this race. So he's doing very well here indeed. Now looking further back down the field, as we've been watching all throughout this race, this crazy battle starting from 9th place and going all the way back to last. This is a great battle here between the lot of them, as they'll make their way up Herbert's rise. So yeah, you've got Olly Smith running in 2nd place here. Olly Smith, who's just casually a 9-time Buckmore champion, been racing here since 2010, as Nathan Maxman meanwhile is looking up the inside of Philip Baralal going into Conways. I think it might have been a bit of contact there actually between Nathan and Philip, and well, Philip almost went off into the trees there going through Henry's bend, so Nathan managed to make his way through. Not sure if Philip lost the back end himself or whether that was assisted or not. Either way, Nathan Maxman has managed to make his way through and is now up into 11th place as we come towards the penultimate lap of this race.
25 seconds to go in the contest, which means Olly Smith and now race leader Jack Simmons will be taking the last lap forward, this time by confirmation on the left-hand side that this is the final lap of the race. So Jack Simmons ahead of Olly Smith, Archie, Bullard, Mark Puxty and Jamie Tiley-Gooden, your top 5. Obviously Frederick Navarro will be shifted back into position in our results as Olly Smith side by side for the lead of the race on the final lap of the race into hairpin 2, held off by Jack Simmons for the time being. Let's keep an eye on this battle then as Ollie tries to find a way back through. He's in the slipstream as they make their way through the S's. It'll be Garda, his final opportunity to try and make a move, I am sure, as they go to the penultimate braking zone on the circuit. Ollie just a little bit too far behind into Garda. Jack goes ever so slightly defensive, gives Ollie the chance to get the run as we're keeping an eye on throughout this field. The battle's going on. Olly Smith will lose out. However, Frederick Navarro trying to make his way through on the number 1 cart. That's Mark Puxty for 4th position. Mark gets past him. Checkered flag for Jack Simmons, though. He wins. Olly Smith winning in the senior class as well, and by the looks of things, Frederick Navarro overtaken in the very closing stages.
That was a really good overtaking attempt there by Mark Puxty on the final lap, going down the bottom of the track. Didn't get past Archie in the end though, and he nearly got overtaken by Frederick Navarro. But shout out to Jack Simmons, who has just won in his first ever race in the EKS. He's won on debut, and he is beating the 9-time champion Olly Smith.
Jack Simmons is able to climb all the way from 4th place on the grid to win for Connecticut Racing Junior Team in our junior class, and overall, of course, but only by about a tenth of a second to Olly Smith in second position. Archie Bullard does fall down the order a little bit, but will be happy to confirm himself inside of the top 3, just ahead of heavyweight driver Mark Puxty, Frederick Navarro, the rest of your top 5. Jamie Tyler Gooden is in 6th position with Carlos Armanis, and Open Throttle Racing in 7th, Ryan Sandown, Charlie Foster and Andrew McWilliam, the rest of your top 10. Jack Harrison is just outside in 11th position with Nathan Maximin in 12th. He had an entertaining battle but couldn't quite find himself gaining that forward momentum. RWW's Alex Brazier is in 13th position after starting last on the grid. He'll be hoping again that that next race brings him better fortune, but a decent recovery nonetheless. Philip Babalal is in 14th position with Richard Lavender and Jamie Sherman Chase, the rest of our order.
Right, Jack, well done on your race. How do you think the race went?
Yeah, it was good. Had a good start, managed to jump Mark off the line quite luckily, and then I decided to stay behind Archie and Ollie for the last lap, get a good gap. Went for a move on Archie after a couple of laps, caught up to Ollie, saw a gap, went for it, and then we worked away for the whole race. And then on the last lap, Ollie was getting up to me. I thought, oh, he might go for it. I went super defensive, and yeah, just managed to snatch it.
Okay, Ollie, well done on your result. Race-long battle. That was really great to watch. How do you think it went on your end?
Pretty well. I'm a little bit disappointed not to first overall. So I definitely had the pace. But glad I did the smart thing for once, which was work together with someone and use that to pull away. And probably just left it a bit too late to attack, but Jack drove really well.